Welcome, dear viewers. Today we have an interesting story about Sherry and her decision to part ways with her family. Are you ready for a juicy story? Grab a seat and buckle up, because we've got some drama to unpack. Get ready to dive into a world of drama, emotions and tough choices. Sherry is the daughter of a family of 8 passengers. That's right, you heard it correctly, 8. Now we all know how tricky it can be to manage privacy in a big family, but with 8 passengers things can get even messier. That's why Sherry decided to make a bold move and leave the nest. And things were not going smoothly in Sherry's household. There were tensions, arguments and disagreements about almost everything, and as much as she loved her family, Sherry felt suffocated and overwhelmed by the constant chaos. So one day she decided to pack her bags and head out on her own. It wasn't an easy decision, but Sherry knew it was the right thing to do for her mental health and well-being. Of course, her family was shocked and upset at first, but they eventually came to understand and respect her decision. Now the 8-passenger family is no ordinary family, they're deeply religious, which is totally cool, but the real trouble began when Ruby, one of the family members, decided to enroll in a life coaching program called Connections. Now Connections wasn't your typical life coaching program, oh no, it was much more intense than that. The teachings were so harsh and critical that it almost seemed like they were part of a cult. Can you imagine that? Poor Ruby, she was just trying to better herself and ended up getting caught up in something that was tearing her family apart. But it didn't stop there. Ruby became more and more involved in Connections and even teamed up with her friend Jodie to launch Moms, an online community for self-help. Meanwhile, Sherry, the eldest of the 8 passengers, was gearing up to go to college. Though BYU, nestled in the picturesque state of Utah, is a university steeped in religious tradition, it's a place where students come to gain knowledge and strengthen their faith. But for one young woman, the hope was that this school would be a gateway to a world beyond the protective cocoon of her family and religious community. And guess what? Last year, that's exactly what happened. It was as if a butterfly had emerged from its chrysalis and spread its wings for the very first time. No longer bound by the constraints of her previous life, she was able to explore new ideas and experiences, to venture outside her comfort zone and discover all the wonderful possibilities that lay beyond her previous boundaries. Gone were the days of being limited to a life of 8 passengers and Connections. She was now free to chart her own course, to explore new avenues of learning and growth, and to make new connections that would broaden her perspective on life. And with each passing day she found herself becoming more confident, more assured, and more excited about all the adventures that lay ahead. Sherry, the Instagram influencer we all know and love, just dropped a bombshell in a recent post. She revealed that she had stopped communicating with her family. That's 6 whole months without talking to your nearest and dearest. But wait, Sherry also opened up about her upbringing, and let's just say it wasn't all rainbows and unicorns. Apparently watching the Family Channel had a negative impact on her. Who would have thought that innocent TV show could do so much damage? But fear not, because Sherry is taking back control. She recently appeared on a podcast called Breaking Free from the Learn Fame, where she talked about her journey towards personal empowerment. And guess what? Finding a relationship with her friend Jess was a big part of it. It's like a real-life rom-com. But back to the serious stuff. Sherry's childhood wasn't easy. She grew up in a traditional Mormon family and even started with her own family channel when she was just a teenager. Talk about starting young. But it seems like things weren't always rosy behind the camera. You're strolling down the street enjoying the sunshine and the sights and sounds around you when suddenly someone writes up to you with a camera and starts recording. A little weird, right? That's exactly how Sherry felt when she first started her job with these camera-toting folks. But as she quickly learned, this was all part of the gig. They needed to capture everything on film to make ends meet. But here's the thing. It's not just about capturing the footage, it's about the connections. Sherry had some experience with that, thanks to her family's involvement in a mental health training group back in 10th grade. At first it seemed pretty straightforward. Learn some tools for dealing with life's challenges, connect your others who are going through the same thing, and move on with your life. But as the years went on, things started to get a little, well, weird. The teaching started to veer into some pretty extreme territory, and Sherry found herself struggling to reconcile what she was being taught with her own values and beliefs. The life coach leading the group seemed to be mixing his own personal philosophy with the gospel, blurring the lines between the two until it was hard to tell where one ended and the other began. It's a tricky situation to be in, no doubt about it, but as Sherry found out, sometimes the best way to deal with the unexpected twists and turns of life may be just to keep moving forward, one step at a time. And who knows, all that camera footage will come in handy someday. You never know when a viral video could launch you into the stratosphere of fame. But hold your horses there, partner. Before you go signing up for a life coaching session, we need to talk about the risks involved. Sherry's absolutely right that there's little accountability in the field, and there's no state certification to ensure that the life coach you're working with knows their stuff. That means you have to be extra cautious when you're considering hiring a life coach. But wait, there's more. Sherry believes that it's important to include a disclaimer when discussing life coaching because it's such a contentious area in the mental health field. Life coaches aren't licensed therapists and they don't have the same training or qualifications. That means that while they can offer some guidance and support, they're not equipped to deal with serious mental issues. Every week, she would moan and groan about how she was tracking for her behaviour. She thought it was pointless and that it only made her feel worse about herself. But little did she know, this simple exercise was about to change her life forever. You see, Sherry was always a bit of an introvert. She kept herself to herself, didn't engage much with others, but when she left for college, everything changed. Suddenly, she was surrounded by new people and new experiences. It was exciting, but a bit overwhelming too. At first, Sherry struggled to break out of her shell. She was so used to her old ways of thinking that it was hard for her to see things differently. But as she continued to track her behaviour and reflect on her actions, she began to realise that she was capable of so much more than she thought. She started to engage with her housemates, joining in on late-night study sessions and impromptu dance parties. She even started to volunteer at a local animal shelter, something she never would have considered before. As she opened herself up to new experiences and new people, Sherry began to unravel in the best way possible. She was happier, more confident and more fulfilled than she'd ever been before. Sherry is excited about her new life and is eager to try new things outside of her Utah bubble. She is embracing this new stage of life and enjoys learning every day. Just like how she triumphed over challenges through yoga, she wants to conquer any obstacle that comes her way. She is living her life in a brand new way that she finds to be a lot of fun. For instance, during St. Patrick's Day week, she went out and got Irish food, which might seem like a silly thing, but it's like part of the adventure. Sherry's positive attitude towards her new life is contagious, and it's inspiring to see her embrace change with such enthusiasm. Despite the unfortunate situation of a family being torn apart, there is still hope to be found. Sherry has been able to discover a newfound clarity and support system within her extended family, mentors and friends. She's on the right path, and it's heartening to see her thrive in the face of difficulty, though still now Ruby hasn't responded to this. But what do you think about all these rumours? Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comment section below. We'll see you in the next exciting and entertaining video. Have a great day and stay blessed.